Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming out here on Memorial Day. Really appreciate it. It's a big day in the HBU baseball program, and for all the people watching streaming online, we appreciate you being here on the Husky Sports Network. Well, you know, today's NCAA baseball selection day, and fitting time for this event, and hopefully that we are doing that for that event in the coming future. And I know that you guys didn't come here to listen to me talk, so I'm going to turn it over to our Director of Athletics, Steve Maniaci, and I will be around if you have any questions afterwards. Just get with me, and we can get you all the time that you need. So I'll turn it over to Steve.
Appreciate it. Good morning, everybody. As Russ mentioned, I really appreciate you guys coming out on a holiday on Memorial Day. I would be remiss if I didn't start today by giving my gratitude and thanks, and I think certainly for all of us here, for those men and women who have put on the uniform of this country and who have served so valiantly. Truly, we would not be here having the lifestyle we have if not for their bravery. So to all those folks, I say thank you. To start today, I would probably be remiss if I didn't do this too. I want to start by thanking Gerald Moon for his 24 years of service to this university, both as an assistant coach and as a head coach. He established a great legacy that we're going to try to continue forward. I don't need to tell you, any of you here, Lance's history. I think everybody knows that. Probably most of you also know that Lance and I have a history, and that I was there when Lance walked on the campus at Rice University a short number of years ago, right, Lance?
That's right.
I've known Lance's family for a long, long time. Know his mom, know his dad, known his wife for a long time, and know his wife's family. What many of you may not know is that Lance already has a connection to this university. Lance's father-in-law, Johnny Baker, is a trustee emeritus of this university and has been a long, long time supporter of HBU. So we're fortunate that Lance is going to get to continue on that family tradition of being associated with this university. We really do think that with this hire, we have elevated not just the baseball program, but the whole athletic department, quite frankly. And certainly what we're looking for is we have always had what's been known around town as a pretty good baseball team. We want to get beyond that. We want to establish a program that is known regionally and then nationally. With Lance's help and some others that we think are going to come along shortly, we think we can get there. But it all starts with the person that's in charge in that program. And the person that's going to be in charge of our baseball program going forward for a long, long time, I hope, is Lance Berkman. Lance?
Well, I don't know how you guys want to do this, but my only comment really is just to say thank you to Steve and to Dr. Sloan for the opportunity. This is something that I've wanted to do for a long time. Even before I retired from playing baseball, I knew that I wanted to coach, and for me, there's no better level than college baseball, Division I college baseball. It's really the last highest level where guys play for the name on the front of the jersey, not the name on the back, and it's an opportunity when you get in front of kids at this time in their life, you can really influence them for the good, which is a big part of the reason I wanted to be in coaching. So this is kind of a dream come true for me, and I just am so grateful for the opportunity. And I don't know if any of you guys have any questions, but fire away.
Lance, have you think you've prepared yourself for this opportunity to actually lead a program? I know you're at the high school level, Second Baptist, and over at St. Thomas as well, University of St. Thomas, to now leading a program and all that's the responsibilities that go with that.
Yeah, so I did pretty extensive research about 4 or 5 years ago. And right after I retired, I went and met with the University of Texas athletic director, A&M's athletic director, Rice's athletic director, and just asked, hey, what are some of the things that you'd be looking for to hire, when you're looking to hire a baseball coach? And of course, they all said you have to have a degree, which I went back to Rice and got my degree in preparation for that. And then I took a little tour and audited what I consider at that time to be some of the premier programs in the country. I went and spent a day with Coach Corbin at Vanderbilt and Coach McDonald at Louisville, and went and talked to Coach Schlossnagel at TCU. Coach Pierce at Texas is a friend of mine, so we've been talking. So I've gone and really sort of Coach Holliday at Oklahoma State, really just trying to find out what is it, because the baseball part of it is only part of the job. I mean, that's kind of what the feedback is, and there's fundraising and there's administration, and so I'm not worried about the baseball part of it. It's going to be figuring out the recruiting and some of the other things that happen off the field. But I think I have a pretty good feel for that, having been to those programs. And so coached in high school, like you mentioned, and I always tell people, if you can coach at the high school level, you can coach at any level, because you literally have to coach every single facet of the game. You can't trust the kids to do what they're supposed to do. You have to coach everything. So that was great preparation for me. And then having an opportunity to get to the college level this past season at University of St. Thomas, and just work with a little bit of a higher level athlete, I think was good, and gotten to see some of the inner workings of the recruiting process, even though it's a little bit different with non-scholarship. So I do feel prepared, although I acknowledge that in some ways this is an experiment, but I'm hopeful to make good on it.
Lance, you've had some pretty great moments in your career at every level. Where does this moment, putting that hat on, stack up?
I mean, it's right up there for sure. Like I said, this has kind of been a dream come true for me. When you retire from playing, there's a period of time where you sort of are casting about to try to, what's next? Because you feel like in some ways, it's like a death. Your career ended and you're like, oh, now who am I? Now what am I doing? And so this is a great chance for me to have a second career, and I'm taking it as seriously as I did, my playing career. And so it's the right opportunity at the right time, and so I'm thrilled.
What is special about HBU that drew you to the school?
Well, HBU is a great place, and in fact, I would say an underrated and underappreciated university. The thing that I really like about it, it's a place that combines faith and education, which are two things that I think are critically important in the development of young men. So the opportunity to develop people in their faith, in their education, and on the baseball field, it's a rare opportunity that combines three things that I'm passionate about.
You're touching on this, but that was going to be my question. What do you hope to do for your players' lives beyond baseball? When they leave your program, and a lot of these guys are going to go off and do 9-to-5 jobs or careers or whatever, what do you hope they take from your program?
Well, I've made plenty of mistakes on and off the field, so what you hope is that you can help circumvent some of those things that I did wrong. And I always say coaching is about shortening the learning curve. So whether it be in life or on the field, that's my job, is to help these guys kind of be a guide. I've been down this exact path. It wasn't all that long ago. I mean, although it has been a number of years now, but I can vividly remember the thoughts and emotions and some of the questions that you have when you're that age. And so having the opportunity to be a guide for them is something that really fires me up. So I'm hopeful that when a player comes to our program, that they're going to get a complete experience. They're going to develop spiritually, they're going to develop with a great education, and they're going to develop physically through their baseball skills. And to me, baseball is the vehicle by which we can develop those other areas. Because quite frankly, the kids that you want to recruit are the guys that think they're going to play in the big leagues, after college. And so the hard reality of professional baseball, though, is that most of the kids that come in are going to be relying on their degree, and of course, your spiritual, the spiritual component of it is something that serves you your whole life and is extremely important. So, but using that lure of, hey, come play baseball for us, come let us develop you to the utmost in a baseball sense, but we're also going to be developing young men spiritually and educationally, which that's the whole point of college baseball.
Lance, when you look at building a staff, I'm not sure how that's going to play out, but what are you looking for in a staff that you want on board around you?
Well, I want young guys that are eager, that'll really work, that will beat the bushes. I mean, the name of the game is recruiting. We happen to be in my opinion, if you had to pick one city in America, if you just said, hey, there's one city in all of America that you could only recruit there, it would be Houston. I mean, the baseball talent in this area is off the chart on the amateur side. So we have to do a great job of getting our share of the Houston talent. And so I need guys that know the area, that are young, hungry, willing to beat the bushes and just we're going to have to outwork some people. And so I'm looking for that in a staff for sure. I'm looking for people that complement my weakness. I mean, I'm a baseball guy. I haven't had much experience with administration, so that's going to be very high on the list, is to find somebody that has administrated before, understands what it takes to run a college program, off the field, that can help me through some of that. And of course, pitching. About 80% of the game is what you get on the mound, so my pitching coach is going to be really important.
In the age of analytics baseball, how much are analytics going to play into the talent that you get versus the talent that they have and experience they have?
Well, analytics is very important for a number of reasons. One, I think it's a great tool when it comes to developing players. You actually have some metrics by which you can judge improvement, and you can say, this is where you were and this is where we want you to go, and here's how you're going to get there. And then, oh, by the way, when you do get there, we'll be able to show you that you did get there. And so there are some really valuable things. It's a tool that you can use when you're coaching and developing players. But I think really the most important thing is when you have technology, that's what, these kids are used to video. They're used to, all of the spin rate stuff, the Rapsodos, and then there's other things now that have kind of been, more advanced than that. If you have those things, it is an attractive draw to recruits. And so you can bring them in and say, hey, we're up to speed with all of the latest and greatest when it comes to technology and analytics and in the baseball world. And if you come to HBU, you're going to get just as good a technology experience, if you will, as A&M or Texas or any of the other bigger schools.
How much of your high school experience helped to remind you that this, you may not need a reminder, but this is a hard game? You made it look easy for a long time. For a lot of people, this is a hard game. How did that kind of resonate with you in shaping some of those high school kids?
Yeah, well, to me, it's about, physical mistakes are going to happen. What I don't tolerate is mental mistakes. So, you can't control bad hop or striking out or even making a bad throw. I mean, that's going to happen to you. Baseball is a sport of failure. It's really a sport of overcoming failure. So you have to be comfortable with failure if you're going to be a good baseball player. But what we can't have is a mental lapse. And so those are things that you can control. And so that's where I've really tried to focus. And when you have a kid that, they're a little short physically and they make mistakes, hey, you can only be as good as God's blessed you to be. But what you can always do is you can always hustle, you can always focus, you can always be a good teammate, you can always have a good attitude. Those are the things that you choose. And so that's where I'm really going to be hard on these guys, not necessarily with the physical mistakes. But the funny thing is, when you take care of the things that you can control, the physical mistakes happen less and less often.
Have you heard from anybody to congratulate you that,
I've heard from everybody, it seems like. I mean, my phone is just, blowing up continually. And it's great. I mean, that's one of the heartwarming parts of this for me, is just to know that there are so many people out there that care enough to send a text of congratulations and that are excited about this opportunity, because this is a great opportunity. I mean, it really is. This school is kind of, I think, a sleeping giant in terms of baseball because of the location. We're a warm weather city. As I already mentioned, this is the greatest amateur baseball city in the nation. This is a tremendous opportunity here.
do you have any particular, pitches to these guys about, wanting to keep them here, some of the top players in the area? What are some of the other things? You said education, faith, and baseball are going to be the three pillars, but is there, you rely back on your experience as a major leaguer? Do you bring that in? Or?
Absolutely. I think, one of the things is that, and college baseball is fun because there is a lot of rah-rah in college baseball where, you don't see that as much in professional baseball. And some of the things that happen in college baseball have really nothing to do with what happens on the field. And so my personal philosophy is, if it's not helping us win on the field, we're not going to do it just because we do it. So when the kids come to our program, they're going to get a true sort of a hybrid experience where my plan is to take the best from the rah-rah college experience and the best of the professional experience, and have a hybrid program where, we know what's important, what's really going to help us win. That's what we're going to be focused on. We're going to sort of cut the fluff and get down to brass tacks with these guys. And so they can, the players that are coming in and the returning players can anticipate a sophisticated approach to baseball development.
Lance, hitting more on the recruiting side as well, facilities are always an important part of that. When you look at things right now, are there some things right away you would love to maybe, get on the radar to maybe some improvements to get done at the stadium?
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's a big priority. Fundraising is part of this job, and I feel like that I know enough people in the city. There's enough excitement, I think, around the program at this point where you can go out and you can fundraise and do some of the things that will improve the facility. Although I will say that the facilities that are in place are better than we had at Rice when I showed up. So, winning can happen anywhere, and it's just a matter of your perspective on it. So we're definitely working on improving the facilities. That's going to be a top priority going forward. Exactly what that looks like, we're not sure at this time, but it's something that needs to be addressed and will be.
What's your philosophy going to be on, I guess you'd probably work with Steve on scheduling, playing a high-level schedule?
Yeah, absolutely.
They normally do anyway, year in and year out.
Yeah, no, I think it's important. One of the things that you kind of have to overcome is, well, this is a mid-major. We play in a mid-major conference, and a lot of the better players in the area are going to want the Power 5 experience, and so you try to provide that for them in the non-conference scheduling. My intention is to play Texas and to play A&M and play Baylor and Tech and TCU and all the schools that that are sort of hot right now in Texas. We want to play those guys. Number one, because I want to beat them, But secondly, I want to be able to say, hey, we play a legit schedule, and if you want to play against top competition, then come to HBU.
It sounds as if you're still putting your staff together. How likely is it that there are other major leaguers that share your dream? Is it possible that some of them may be coming on board?
Well, I won't rule it out entirely, but I think one major leaguer per staff is plenty. Because one of the knocks on guys that come out of pro ball is, well, they won't work, or they're not familiar with the recruiting. So there would be a short list of guys, let me put it that way, that I know that are former major leaguers that I think would make a good coach at this level. So I'm really looking for younger guys that are grinders, that are just that haven't made a lot of money, that are hungry, because they always say the hungry wolf runs the hardest. So that's what I want, is guys that are willing to get out there and do whatever needs to be done to make this a great program. Not that there aren't a few guys that I have in the back of my mind that would fit that bill that are former professional players. There's just not that many of them. Good? Go Huskies.
So Steve, obviously, and Dr. Sloan are both here if you need either one of them following. I'm around if you have any other questions. I think Lance will hang around for another couple of minutes. I want to thank everybody for watching online. I want to thank everybody for coming out here today. And we appreciate everybody just taking time out of their day. Thank you.